Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now let's talk about the GT 1030, released within the last couple of days. This is a $70 or pound graphics card that to me seems a little overpriced when the RX 460 or 1050 is only a little more expensive. I'm taking a quick look at the Gigabyte version because this was the only one I could get my hands on for now, and we're going to be running through some games before I jump into a full unboxing and review of the card later on or early next week. So let's get straight into it. First of all, we tested GTA 5 with the high settings and any form of AA off to achieve 70 FPS on average, which was actually quite surprising, with 1% lows of 63 and a 0.1% low of 58 with a minimum frame rate of 37. The game actually performed a lot better than I was initially expecting, and so far this car stands up to the likes of the old GTX 750. Overwatch next, again at the high preset at 1080p, this time with an average of 68 frames per second. At times the game dropped all the way down to 42, but as you can see from those 1% and 0.1% lows, there really wasn't much stuttering going on, and again I generally got a very playable experience even with 100% render scaling, which I thought was very impressive considering the price of this card. So we tried Dota 2, an esports title that you're likely to play with something like this, and we set the game to the best looking settings at 1080p to achieve 68 once again on average, with lows of 64 and 62 with a minimum of just 56. There was no stuttering throughout, and you can see that the GPU was maxed out with my i5 at 100% usage pretty much all the way through these gameplay tests. But the card ran just fine with this processor in the grand scheme of things. Next up, CSGO, again at 1080p, but this time we turned things down to the lowest they would go. Here we achieved 160 frames per second on average, with 1% lows and 0.1% lows of 152 and 144 respectively, with the game not really dropping much below 100 in terms of frame rate, which again is very impressive, and I'd like to reiterate that this matches up to the old 750 in terms of performance. However, when we try and run something a bit more demanding like The Witcher 3, we have to turn things down to 900p. Even then we only achieve a rather stuttery 40 frames per second on average and a minimum of 16 all in all. And before I get into the full review of this card as well as a couple of comparisons tomorrow, I'd like to say that the 1030 has surprised me. It may seem a tad overpriced, but it sort of sits between that 750 Ti, somewhere in between those two, and to be honest, it didn't really let me down. I will be comparing it to the RX 550 from AMD very soon, but until then, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, leave a dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.